Hi, welcome to the Clandestine podcast. It's me, Gabriel.
And Olivia.
I'm glad everyone's been tuning in lately. We're getting a lot of good feedback and stuff, which I love to see.
Yes, thank you.
So much fun doing this as well. So, I know everyone loved my stories last week, but I had to give it up this week for Olivia. She's done some very, very extensive research. I'm just thrilled to hear what she's got for us.
Yes. Before I go on, I do want to say I am getting over an illness.
Woo!
So that is why we didn't go live yesterday, and also why I sound like this. So Gabe.
What's up?
Have you ever heard of Tara Calico?
Tara Calico?
Yeah.
I cannot say that I have. I know calico is like a shade of purple.
Is it really?
I think so, right?
It's a cat. Well, it has nothing to do with the story, so it doesn't matter. Tara Calico, or Tara, I might switch back and forth between the pronunciations. She was born February 28th, 1969, in Belen, New Mexico, to parents Patty Dole and David Calico. Her parents split up early in Tara's life, and she was raised by Patty and her stepfather, John Dole. So, as far as I know, Tara did not have a whole lot of connection with her birth father. So if I talk about her father anytime in this story, I most likely am referring to John Dole, her stepfather.
So her birth dad abandoned them?
I didn't really find out the story on why he exited the relationship, but I do know that she was raised by Patty and John.
Yeah.
She was very athletic, and getting daily exercise was important to her. She was a cheerleader, played softball, and was in the ski club.
Oh boy.
She was also in the school marching band, which was where she would meet her close friend Melinda Esquivel. One of Tara's favorite outdoor exercises was bike riding, which was what she spent a lot of her free time doing. She usually biked with her mother until Patty decided she felt uncomfortable biking due to suspicions that they were being watched or followed by a car. This did not deter Tara, who was at this point 19. She still wanted to...
Yeah, that whole young and invincible feeling that...
Yeah, and she didn't believe it was a problem.
Right.
Her mother continually asked her to carry mace, but she, again, thought that it wasn't a real issue, yeah. So yeah. Tara's other favorite sport was tennis, which she frequently played with her boyfriend, Jack Cole. After graduating high school, Tara had aspirations toward a career in the mental health field, either to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Around this time, she also started a job as a bank teller to make some extra money on the side while in school. Okay. So September 20th, 1988, at 9:30 a.m., Tara Calico went out on a 36-mile bike ride on Highway 47 in New Mexico.
Jeez.
36 miles, yeah. She biked this exact same route almost every single day, which is not good. You shouldn't do that. You should always mix it up.
What do you mean?
Like, she went on the same route every day, same time.
Oh. I thought you meant, like, the same, like, exercise.
Oh, no. You should also never take the same way home from work every day.
That's a good point.
Case, yeah.
There's some crazy people out there.
After her ride that day, she planned to play a few rounds of tennis with her boyfriend at 12:30, then go on to attend her afternoon class at 4 p.m. Tara was a strong and fast bike rider, and the route she was taking was one she knew very well, so she knew her bike ride would take her about 2 hours to complete. Still, she was a little worried she would not make it back by noon, back in time to play tennis, so she asked her mom to come and get her if she was not home by noon, so she wouldn't be late. Tara grabbed her Walkman, her Boston cassette, and headphones and headed out for her ride on her mother's bright pink bike because her own had a flat tire at the time. Afternoon had come and gone. Tara's mother set out on the bike route to find her and pick her up. When she couldn't find her and searched again at the house one more time, she immediately called the police to report her missing. It was extremely unlike Tara to be spontaneous. She was a very consistent person, almost to a fault. That same day, local police found parts of Tara's Walkman about 19 miles from Tara's route, and Patty found the Boston tape just 3 miles from their house. It's assumed it was dropped by her towards the start of her route because of which side of the street it was found on. Searchers also saw tire tracks that looked, quote, spun out on the side of the road. Bike tracks were also present at the scene, and it looked like there could have been a scuffle that had taken place.
Uh-oh.
The rest of Tara's Walkman was found 20 miles away from State Route 44 by the entrance to the John F. Kennedy Campground, which is at the base of the Manzano Mountains. There were 7 witness sightings of Tara on her ride that morning, and 5 of them reported a white Ford pickup truck with a camper shell trailing behind her.
Okay. Like one of those covers with like the windows. I think that's what those are.
It goes over the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
A witness said the truck did not just have one occupant, but several.
Oh.
So, what I'm about to tell you, is what really made this case famous, okay?
Okay.
On June 15th, 1989, 9 months after the disappearance of Tara Calico, a photograph was found by a woman in a convenience store parking lot all the way across the country in Port St. Joe, Florida. This photograph was a Polaroid picture of a woman looking to be aged teens to early 20s, and a young boy looking to be around 6 to 12, who were both tied up with their hands behind their backs, and their mouths were covered in black duct tape.
She just found this picture in the parking lot?
Yep, the woman who found the photo had originally said there was a white Toyota cargo van parked right by where the photo was found, but after a hypnosis-enhanced questioning, it was found that she didn't see the van in the parking lot, but she saw a white van behind her when she was driving away, and police determined that the van that she saw was not related. There was another male witness at the store who did report a white van in front of the store that day, though, and he said he saw, quote, a young 8 to 9-year-old male sitting behind the steering wheel, kind of like playing with the wheel, and he said he saw a young woman in the store with an older man buying groceries. The witness did take a polygraph test and passed, but no other substantial leads or sightings really came out of Florida after the photo's discovery. From the picture's background, it can be determined that the photo was taken in the back of a white 1980s Toyota cargo van with no back windows.
Uh-oh.
Next to the woman, there was a beat-up copy of the book My Sweet Audrina by V.C. Andrews. There's apparently a phone number written on the spine of the book, but most of the digits aren't readable.
Yeah.
They did try to...
Like digitally enhance the
numbers. Like they could make out, I want to say like 5 of the numbers, and they did like 300 combinations to see what the number could be. And only like 52 of them were active at the time, and it just didn't go anywhere.
I feel like that would be so nearly impossible to actually get that number right.
Yeah.
And even then, like, what if you do and they don't answer?
Yeah. They also sent the picture to Polaroid, the company, and found that the photo paper it was taken on was not available until May 1989, so it must have been taken sometime after then.
Oh, okay.
So do we want to look at the picture?
Yes, please. Oh, that was the picture that was found?
Yeah, that's the picture that was found.
Oh my gosh. What was the name of the book?
My Sweet Audrina.
That looks like it says My Sweet... starting with an A.
Yeah, no, it's definitely that book.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's awful.
Yeah, and this picture is very associated with this case. I am not going to post a picture of it on the Instagram because, one, I feel like everybody's seen it. Well, a lot of people have seen it.
Yeah.
And two, I genuinely believe that this is not a hoax and that these people, like, this is a real picture. And so, like, I don't know.
What, that people think it's fake or something?
Some people think it could be a hoax, but whether or not it's Tara, which, personally, just a little spoiler, I don't think it's her.
Really?
But a lot of people do. Let's talk about why people think that.
Yeah, I would like to know that as well.
Other than the obvious, which is there is some physical similarities between them. Tara's mother actually believes that this is a photo of her. V.C. Andrews was her favorite author, so Patty believes that the book could have even been placed there by Tara to kind of leave a clue.
Oh, and I mean, even if like a mother or like any parent really seeing a picture of what could be their kid, that's unmistakable to a parent. I mean, I know you said that people think it's a hoax, but for that book to be there, and for her mom to recognize it like that, I don't know. That's just,
I mean,
at least from what you're telling me so far, that's what I'm thinking about it.
Most people do believe that it's a real picture of somebody in a bad situation.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But there are some people that think the whole thing is a hoax and that those were, like, actors or, like, whatever, just to be stupid or whatever. Yeah. Anyways, her mother also says that there's a scar on the woman in the picture's leg that matches up with one that Tara had gotten years before in a car accident. I can't see the scar, and
really
neither can, like, most people, I think.
The only thing that I could really maybe pick out is, like, right there on her knee. Would that just...
No, I just think that's, like...
Her leg, yeah.
The photo has been analyzed by several different agencies, some of which did confirm that the woman is Tara, but others didn't confirm that. This place is called Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard,
They said that it was her.
Dude.
But the FBI also analyzed the photograph and was unable to confirm or deny the woman's identity as Tara or anyone else.
See, what does that even mean, though? They can't confirm their identity as anybody else.
Well, let's keep listening.
Mm-hmm.
The young boy's identity was believed by his family to be 9-year-old Michael Henley, who disappeared in April 1988 in the same area of New Mexico Tara went missing.
Mm.
He was on a camping trip with family members in the New Mexico Zuni Mountains when he went missing. His parents were very positive that boy in the picture was their son.
That was Michael.
Yeah, and so much to the point that Tara's family and Michael's family got really close because they believed that their children were together. But unfortunately, Michael Henley's remains were found in the Zuni Mountains 2 years later, after he went missing.
Jeez.
And police believed that Michael wandered off or got lost and ruled his death as due to exposure, and there was no foul play involved.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so now it is clear that it's highly unlikely that that was the boy in the picture.
Just due to that?
Well, yeah. Okay, so he went on a camping trip with his dad, and his dad said that he wandered off and he got lost. 2 years later, after he went missing, he was found in the Zuni Mountains.
Oh, okay.
So,
no, that's a good point then. Yeah, definitely.
it's pretty much impossible that he was the boy.
Yeah.
So here's something interesting that I found. This is a quote from Medium.com. This is a direct quote from them. I couldn't think of a way to say it better, and they covered everything great. So, quote, in 2009, Port St. Joe Police Chief David Barnes received 2 envelopes postmarked June and August 9th, 2009, from Albuquerque, New Mexico. One letter contained a photograph printed on copy paper of a young boy. Someone had drawn a black band in black ink over the boy's mouth, seemingly depicting the gag in the 1989 photograph. The second letter contained the original image of the boy with no gag. On August 12th, the Star newspaper in Port St. Joe received a third letter posted from Albuquerque with the same image of the boy with a black marker gag over his mouth. None of the letters had a return address or note that would indicate the child's identity. Authorities in Port St. Joe believe the photograph of the young boy has something to do with Tara's abduction, but it remains a mystery. So I'm going to show you a picture of that.
Huh.
Okay, so that's the picture.
That was sent to, and just to say again, that was sent to who?
This was sent to the police. I'll put that one on the Instagram.
Yeah.
That first Polaroid picture is the famous one in this case.
With the two of them on the bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I learned researching this case this last time, there's actually 2 more and possibly a 4th that show this girl.
Oh.
So another Polaroid photo popped up that is believed by some to be connected to the first picture, but officials could never definitively confirm a connection. The second photo was found in Montecito, California, near a construction site, and shows a high exposure close-up of a woman with duct tape on her mouth. The girl in the photo looks to have a cowlick on her right temple and somewhat of a lazy eye, which Tara had as well. The girl is lying on blue striped fabric, which could be similar to the pillow in the first photo we see, but the photo is very low quality and it's difficult to tell. So this is the picture.
At least from like what I looked at, the picture of her, I mean, that's obviously very bright in the face, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
So
I think it's possibly the same girl in the picture. I don't know if I think it's Tara. So the third photo was found that appears to show the same woman as the one before, at least.
Yeah.
But I guess it's kind of impossible to tell. She's bound, she's gagged, and she's, like, struggling while next to a white man in his 40s or 30s, seemingly mocking her and, like, looking at her with his mouth open. And they are sitting next to each other on an Amtrak train. And you can see the guy's face, like, clear as day, and nobody knows who this guy is.
Really?
Yeah. Some sources say these two pictures, especially the third, are hoaxes, but the first photo is considered to be authentic, whether the woman is Tara or not. I think because this one that you're about to see is so jarring, and it seems like it's not real.
What the hell? Yeah, that is disturbing.
Yeah. And so some people think that this is a hoax. I think because it's just so bold.
Maybe these were just random people being silly on the train, even though it's something to be not really...
Well, yeah, or, like, trying to take pictures that look real. Just to, like, freak people out, I guess.
Huh. Well, what, that was also...
So that one and that one were found around the same time.
Yeah.
And those two are believed to be connected.
I just want to say about the one with her and the younger kid, it almost looks like they're in a... I want to say that looks like... It almost looks like a van... Or like the bottom of a boat.
Yeah.
Just with those windows, because...
Could that be the camper shop?
No, because, look, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, too. That's the camper shell, like the little...
There was a police sketch of the truck. There.
Oh, so this is an old truck, too.
Yeah. Well, regardless, they were able to figure out that it was in the back of a truck.
Oh, it was in the back of a truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, there is a third picture that shows a topless woman bound and gagged and perhaps in, like, makeshift bondage. It's not known if this photo is related or where and how it was found. Its existence was only acknowledged in unverified sources like Reddit posts, but the photo does exist because I saw it. And to me, the photo looks very different from the others, but the woman does bear a strong resemblance to the woman in the original photo.
Yeah.
It's not really, like, super graphic or anything. She's laid out like this, and she's got, like, string over her. Like, it doesn't really look like bondage. Like, it doesn't look tight or anything.
Yeah.
And she's topless, and she does have the thing over her.
Oh.
But it's kind of, like, it's kind of spooky because she's, like, looking into the camera in the same way that the other girl is just kind of, like, giving that camera that look.
Oh.
I don't know. When I look at that picture in the van with the little boy, when I see that girl in the picture, the look on her face, like, in her eyes, doesn't strike me as, like, fear. It strikes me as, like, I don't know how to say it.
It's funny you say that because when I was looking, it almost just looks like defeat.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
kind of like, but now that little boy, he kind of looks scared to me.
Yeah, he looks scared.
But she doesn't look scared to me. She just looks like, and that was kind of the look that I got from the lady in the topless photo. Yeah. So, which, again, I don't know if that's related at all, but it does exist because, unfortunately, I did see it. I didn't mean to see it, but I did. So now we get to the interesting part.
Oh boy.
As if this wasn't interesting.
I know, I was going to say, as if all the stuff you just said wasn't.
Yeah. In 2008, the Valencia County Sheriff, Rene Rivera, had gotten a tip regarding two teenage boys in a truck seen harassing Tara on her bike rides in September 1988. Tara knew these boys, at least in passing, and allegedly even hit Tara's bike with their car once. A theory arose that the boys may have accidentally hit Tara on their bike, this time killing her, and took her body away to be disposed of to avoid getting into any trouble. Perhaps one of the boys was related to a local officer. Ooh. And was able to use their connections to cover up the crime.
You said he was, or possibly?
I don't know. That's just a theory.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into it, though. Variation of this theory is believed by Michelle Dole, who is Tara's sister, and Melinda Esquivel. I don't know if you remember her from earlier. She's Tara's friend from school. She was in the marching band with her.
Yeah.
She really took on this case. She and Michelle actually worked together to put together a podcast about this case.
Oh, wow.
And she believes this theory. Former Sheriff Rene Rivera believes this theory himself. He has even gone so far to say that he knows exactly who the boys were and who their parents are that helped them cover it up. But without her body, there's no proof. Michelle, her sister, she still believes Tara is the girl in the Polaroid photo, which I thought was so sad.
Yeah.
Because she says, this is a quote from a People magazine article. She said, "When people ask me, is that her? If I had to say yes or no, definitively, yes, that is her. Does it make sense? No, that's not the story that makes sense." Tara's mom and her stepfather, John, they kept a bedroom for Tara, brought her gifts for every Christmas and every birthday.
That's so sad.
Even near the end, Patty would, quote, see a young girl on a bicycle and point and write down Tara.
Aw.
Yeah, and...
Oh, that's terribly sad.
And John, her husband, would tell her, no, that's not Tara. Her older brother, Chris, says that the stress of his sister's disappearance and its persistent irresolution significantly shortened his mother's life.
Huh.
He said the police would send photos of every possibility, including photos of bodies, dismembered bodies, and every time Mom got an envelope with the newest picture, she had to look at them. She couldn't not, but it tore her up every time.
Yeah.
They have both passed away, Tara's mother and the stepfather.
Yeah.
But luckily, Michelle and Melinda, they're still out there fighting for Tara. So I thought that it ended there. Like, I was going to end the episode there. But then...
I mean, it even sounds like it, too. It's like, just kind of went unresolved. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
But
then I found some kind of crazy information.
Uh-oh.
And I just want to give credit up front to reallifeishorror.blogspot.com. I will leave the link in the YouTube description for that article because they kind of did the heavy lifting on this one.
Go check them out.
There was an incident report filed on the supposed theory of Tara being killed by two boys who lived in the town with police connections. The following is a direct quote from the incident report and documents the story told to former sheriff's deputy Frank Mathola in 2013 regarding the case. Mr. Mathola had been dispatched to conduct an interview with a Henry Brown, which I think that's a pseudonym, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Who stated that he had information about the Tara Calico case he wanted to pass on before he died.
Whoa.
Mr. Brown explained that around the time of Tara Calico's disappearance, Lawrence Romero Jr., and then this doesn't say it in the document, but just to explain to you who that is the son of the current sheriff at the time of the incident. Lawrence Romero Jr. lived in a trailer home his father had as a rental property just down the street from him. Mr. Brown explained that they had made a makeshift basement under the trailer home where they would party and smoke marijuana.
Oh, no.
Dave Silva and another friend that was tall and had red hair would come to the home that Lawrence Romero Jr. lived in, and Mr. Brown would join them to party in the basement. Mr. Brown said on one occasion that they were all there drinking margaritas and making fajitas. He was in the basement with them, and he had a weird feeling. So he looked down and noticed in, quote, a grave wrapped up in a blue tarp, end quote, of what he believed was a small body. He said they started talking about how they raped and killed Tara Calico. Mr. Brown said that he knew the kids because he had worked at the school and knew the kids smoked weed and skipped school. Mr. Brown said one of them used to be her boyfriend and one of them was jealous. They started talking about another friend that had been with them named Leroy Chavez. They started talking to him about what they had done and also warned him not to talk about it or they would come get him. They said that they were driving one of the older guys' trucks that day. They all knew that Jeff Abayeta and Tara were dating and they had broken up. And they all knew she rode her bike down the highway at that same route. They explained that they hit her with the truck and then put her in the back of the truck with Leroy Chavez and then took her out to the gravel pits where they did bad sexual things to her.
Right.
Lawrence Jr. said, quote, she got ballsy. She stood up and said she was going to make sure that they were all going to jail. Lawrence Jr. went and got a knife from the truck, and David, Leroy, and the tall red-haired guy held her down while Lawrence stabbed her and killed her. They said they drug her body and put her in a bush nearby until they got nervous when the search started for her.
Mm-hmm.
So, I kind of tried to get a little bit more information about that quote. There's a little bit of, like, inconsistencies there and just kind of...
It sounded like it, yeah.
Like, I think that this person that did the deathbed confession was probably old, and maybe their memory was a little haywire. I don't know. So, from what I gathered, Romero Jr. was a drug dealer who was interested in Tara, but she was dating another drug dealer, Jeff. She broke up with Jeff and started dating her current boyfriend. For revenge, Romero Jr. and his friends hit Tara, raped or killed her, hid her body in bushes, then in the tarp under the trailer, and then they moved her remains to a non-specified pond. In the many years following Tara's disappearance, another man came forward to say one of the suspects confessed to him what had happened. However, all of the suspects are deceased, so they cannot be questioned. I did read that Romero Jr., he allegedly wrote a suicide note confession about his involvement with Tara. The existence of the note seems to be just a rumor. It was supposedly covered up and destroyed by the deputy sheriff. Some sources also say that Romero Jr. did not commit suicide, but he died by playing Russian roulette. So if that's true, then he wouldn't have written a note. So yeah. I don't know.
Huh.
Other than the Polaroid photos, which again may or may not be her, there have been no confirmed sightings of Tara or her mother's pink Huffy bike since her disappearance. If she was murdered or otherwise deceased, no trace of her body has ever been found, and no arrests have ever been made, and her case remains open to this day.
That is awful.
Yeah.
That is just truly wicked.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like the most believable, the thing that makes the most sense is that, jealousy always does it.
And that's what I was reading in the Reddit posts and everything, which I try to avoid Reddit as sources because it's not reliable, but just to get a little bit more information about this stuff, I did head to Reddit, and a lot of people were saying that this case is so sad because we know what happened. Just kind of like in the Amy Bradley case. It's unsolved, but it's solved.
Yeah.
Also, that Polaroid photo. To this day, no one has identified them.
And it's just, I don't know. I don't want to say this because I could be wrong. A lot of the times with this stuff, it's like shoddy police work.
Yeah.
Because this is a missing person. You had all this evidence, and then there was like the suspicion of those boys. I mean, I feel like somewhere along the line, evidence was mishandled, not analyzed properly. And I'm not really, it's not like I'm one to talk. I'm not a detective by any means, but
it's kind of crazy in this case because there really wasn't a whole lot of evidence to begin with.
And and that too. I mean, other than random pictures being sent in, and I'll say I think the thing with the book and her mother being able to, that's her, that sold it for me at least. But then again, I don't know.
If you're a mother in that situation, wouldn't you just kind of...
Yeah, because you want to kind of hold on to any belief.
Yeah.
But then again, why would that guy say that on his deathbed? Henry Brown?
Well, he could have been, like I said earlier, an old man. He could, for whatever reason, he could have been very involved in this case.
Maybe to clear his conscience before he...
Sorry, I misspoke. Maybe he was very interested in this case, and it just got confused in his mind. Apparently, in Belen, New Mexico, where this happened...
Yeah.
It is strongly believed in the community, the story we just heard. The last story.
Oh, really?
In the podcast, I think it's called Vanished, Melinda talks about how she had moved out of the town and then came back one Christmas, and she was at like a Christmas party with her friends from high school, and for whatever reason, the case got brought up, and she was saying, like, wow, I still can't believe they never solved that. And everybody looked at her kind of crazy, like, oh, honey, we know who did it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if you're a local, usually you got more insight than anybody else. That's awful, man. I almost just like the ones that get solved more just because at least there's a definite answer. Until it's solved, you really don't know. You really don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Olivia, great stuff.
Thanks.
Awesome research. Great references.
I do my best.
You do a darn good job at that. Well, once again, thanks for everybody that's been showing support to the Clandestine podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, if you guys want, feel free to tune into these live streams too on Twitch. If come hang out with us, see the live show. It's pretty fun. You get to see our pretty faces on camera. But yeah, thank you guys for the support and everything, and it means a lot. This is so much fun to do, and I was actually telling her earlier I was weary about doing it at first, but the first time we did it, I was like, I love this. Like, this is such a good hobby. It's cool. And this is stuff I'm interested in too. I don't like the gruesome stuff of it, but it's just almost like it's intriguing. It is. Well, with that, call it a wrap. Take it easy, everybody, and thank you.
Thank you. Good night.